Palestinians accuse Hamas of storing weapons in residential areas.
Here's a summary of the article.
Palestinians in the Gaza Strip said that the explosion took place in a warehouse used by Hamas for storing weapons. Thursday's explosion occurred shortly after 8 a.m. in a house located in the Al-Zawiya market area in the center of Gaza City. According to eyewitnesses, a fire had broken out in the house before the explosion. Al-Mazan Center for Human Rights in Gaza views the explosion incident with grave seriousness, as there have been repeated incidents of internal explosions in houses and overcrowded residential neighborhoods for various reasons in the past, which resulted in the killing of a number of civilians and the destruction of homes and public and private properties, the statement read. Accordingly, Al-Mazan reiterates its call for a comprehensive and serious investigation into this incident and other similar events, to publish the results of the investigation publicly, and to take the necessary measures to ensure that it does not recur in order to preserve the lives and property of citizens. The Palestinian Ngo Network, an umbrella organization comprising 133 member organizations, also called for a serious and transparent investigation into the explosion. He said that Hamas was confused by the explosion because one of its weapons warehouses had been discovered. He also pointed out that a similar explosion took place in an open market in the Nuseirat refugee camp last year, killing more than 10 Palestinians and injuring dozens others.
This post received a score of 2,400, with an upvote ratio of 89%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
I thought this was common knowledge.
Everyone knew it, but it's notable that now the Palestinians are saying it. I wonder what's happened recently.
This is almost exactly what everyone against Hamas has been saying the entire time. Storing weapons in civilian areas, which is getting civilians killed whether or not it's Israel or Hamas itself.
Storing and, in the interest of efficiency, launching them too. Add in the human shields and it's one-stop shopping.
I mentioned the efficiency of human shields for the Hamas in another sub and got downvoted badly. Sad reality.
Hamas literally store their rockets and weaponry in civilian buildings including hospitals, mosques and United Nations-funded schools. They do this because they know the IDF will go out of their way to avoid striking such buildings due to the presence of civilians in them, and if the IDF do end up striking the buildings used as rocket stores, Hamas can successfully demonize the actions of the Israeli army and justify their terrorism behind a smokescreen of victimhood. Source.
Obviously, for many years, this is a war crime.
Why is this being downvoted?
Welcome to Reddit. Ugh, some people here always have a black and white image of the world when it's always in between. I mean, that's what a points-based popular site does, I guess.
Hamas, Israel is starving our people out. We can't afford food, diapers, clothes, basic necessities that people in other countries take for granted. Also, Hamas buys $110 million of weapons and stores them in a residential area.
This has been the Mo for years now. It's a win-win situation for Hamas's leadership. They just store ammo and shoot rockets from civilian places, dig tunnels under schools or hospitals, and if Israel reacts they just make sure to get it all on camera to brainwash the rest of the world.
It's worse than that. Apparently Israel gives warnings before it bombs a place because of this issue, so Israel is telling them where to point the cameras.
Yeah, that's why there's such a huge amount of videos of building being blown up during this recent clash, because Israel warns about its targets beforehand so civilians could evacuate.
How is this news? I mean, this is their Mo since the beginning of time.
The news isn't Hamas storing weapons. The news is Palestinians accuse. The article, while being in the Jerusalem Post and thus possibly biased, refers to a Palestinian NGO that doesn't seem to be biased pro-Israel, and others, and I think J-Post is reputable enough to not outright fabricate quotes.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.